Welcome to Meet the Candidate with your host, Sue Lonnie Madsen. Meet the Candidate is your opportunity to see local candidates and hear about the experiences that have shaped their lives. Meet the Candidate is a nonpartisan community project brought to you by our friends at Greater Spokane Incorporated, Ponderosa Republican Women's Club, We Believe, We Vote, and Better Spokane. Now, here's Sue Lonnie.
Well, welcome to Meet the Candidate, and my guest for this session is Dave Strider, a candidate for U.S. Senate. Welcome, Dave.
Oh, welcome. It is right. I mean, I'm ecstatic to be here. Anytime I get a chance to talk about what I want to do for the people of Washington, I get excited.
Well, we appreciate you making the time to come to the studio in Spokane. I think that's really important for statewide races, and appreciate you being here.
Well, I wanted to let you folks know that Spokane's not that far away, and that I would like to have more people here active in my campaign that would say, come on, Dave, we got some more people. We only got 5. Well, that's fine. Let's go. Let's do it. And but that's why I'm hoping to build up a base here in Spokane to get to
and your base, your home is in
Tacoma, Washington.
Tacoma, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, backing up, we start with all our candidates with just asking some really basic stuff. Tell us a little bit about your childhood and where you grew up.
Well, I'm originally from Southwest Ohio. I grew up in farm country, so I'm familiar with the agri-based society that's here in eastern Washington. I grew up in that. I slopped hogs, manure up to my waist, cattle, butchered hogs, for the meat that we would eat. Made grain, ground feed for them, birthed animals, everything that goes along with farm, maintaining buildings and preventive maintenance on the machinery. It was good. I mean, it's a hard life, but it's a good life. And I don't think that the farming community is given their just dues when it comes down to what they actually do for the rest of us.
Well, since after this I have to go home and do chores, I appreciate that sentiment.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You graduated from school in Ohio, and then you went on to some additional work?
I'm an unusual candidate, okay? I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I worked in the Judge Advocate Division's office. I'm a high school dropout. I haven't finished any college, and the only college courses that I've taken are college courses that enrich my ability to read, write, and communicate with the rest of the people. Okay. In fact...
Well, there's many ways to get an education. It doesn't all have to be in the classroom.
I've got something there I'd like to read if I could.
Oh,
Sue.
Certainly.
Okay. This right here is... it talked about education. It was on the Secretary of State's website. And so instead of putting down a list of colleges that I attended, I wrote this. Now, this is something that I wrote. Education doesn't make the man. It is what the man has done with what he has learned that makes him a man. Does he walk in what is true? If he does, then all he says and lives becomes a path that others may follow. And I think that our politicians need to do that, and we don't. They're self-serving. I've turned back money over close to $6,000 in campaign donations that I could not verify who they came from, and they were outside the United States when I checked the IP addresses. I do have I am certified in IT management, but the point I'm getting at is this. I do not take bundled money. This is self-funding. I'm a disabled veteran. I'm on Social Security, VA pension. You can't get much ground roots than that. And since October of last year, over 1 million pieces of correspondence have passed through my websites. I have 8 different media outlets. The millennials are off the chart. I've had interviews from high school students talking about, and they're talking about subjects that you and I would address, Sue. These are coming, they're coming from high school students, 14 to 17-year-olds. And that's where David Strider is. And in 1978, I petitioned the North Carolina Drug Commission for therapeutic use to marijuana. I was an active duty Marine Corps sergeant working in the Judge Advocate Division. And I'm the first active duty military person to have legal access, hassle-free access to marijuana, in spite of the 1937 law that put it on Schedule 1, which is a violation of our Constitution. It's a violation of the Constitution. Therefore, it is a unlawful law, and therefore it needs to be repealed. And those people who were arrested for it need to have some type of restoration for the damages that were done to their lives, to their families. I scheduled 10,000 court martials with a BCD for a trace amount of marijuana. Those 10,000 who were convicted have no Veterans Administration benefits, can't buy a car, can't do nothing because of a bad conduct discharge. So that is why I'm after the repeal. Not reschedule, repeal. I've had access for 40 years. I haven't made a dime off of it. And I think the time is now. The time is now.
Okay. So you mentioned that you have a number of websites. What kinds of things do you?
Oh my gosh.
Are you
I'm on
using them
Twitter,
for?
Reddit, Instagram, Facebook. I have 3 accounts on Facebook. I have 3 accounts on YouTube. I have 3 accounts on. I have 3 accounts on Tumblr too, that people have made up, and that's where the millennials are, and they ran across me this way. Oh my God! I was looking for cartoons about Dave Strider, and I found that Dave Strider is running for president in real life. Well, immediately when I saw that post on my website, I said, no, I am not running for president. I wouldn't have the job. I can do more good for you in the U.S. Senate to make sure that the laws that are made for us are just and that we don't go into wars for profit anymore. And being a veteran, I feel that way.
You mentioned here that you are concerned about water issues.
Water is life. Without water, there is no need to protect this country. If our water is poisoned here in this country, then all we are is a landmass. And we have no, because the first thing that you do when you try to take over a castle, you poison the water system, okay? Guess what? Our water system is poisoned. Those people in Flint, Michigan are going to be on government care for the rest of their lives. And all those other people, our first people in radioactive places, Hannaford, which is a dump, which never should, and the people aren't being treated that go there to work, it's an atrocity. It's an atrocity.
Well, I can see that your passion for issues is undoubtedly what has prompted you to run for elected office.
Yes, and I'm the only one that's running for office, Sue. I'm the only one running for office who has taken on the powers that be. I took on the government of the United States, Department of Defense, the United States Navy, the Marine Corps, Jacksonville, North Carolina, the state, and I won without legal representation. Now, if I could do that in 1978, okay, why can't I do it for the state of Washington in 2018? Because I am a fighter. I do not compromise. I am not going into a boardroom or a smoke-filled room in Congress with a compromise on the table. I'm going there with a demand, and if you can't do it, then guess what? Here is the U.S. Marshal that's going to arrest you for taking bribes from corporations who have foreign interests, and therefore you committed an act of treason. Look up the words. Look up the definitions, people. Look up the definitions.
Okay. Well, I asked.
I worked in JAG, and if anybody knows about treason, I know because it's in the Uniform Code of Military Justice. It's called sedition also.
Well, I ask everyone, I got the high sign that we're to the end of our time, but I ask everyone the same question,
Okay.
and that at the end, which is, how do you see the duties of this elected office, and why should voters choose you? Here's your pitch.
I am a public servant. I have been a public servant all my life. In 1973, I took an oath to protect and defend this nation and the people therein against all enemies, foreign and domestic, to make sure that their rights and their freedoms, it doesn't matter what state of life you come from, it doesn't matter what your sexual preference is, I took a right to defend that choice that you made, because this is the United States of America. I am a son of the American Revolution. The blood of that war flows through my body right now. I've been in every war. This body, this blood in my body has been in every war that this nation has ever been in. It has seen the expansion of this nation. And Cornwallis surrendered at my grandmother's house. So these wannabe kings and queens that we have in our government, just like we got rid of Cornwallis and the King of England, I am going into that swamp. Marines don't mind swamps. We don't care. I don't take no for an answer. And the only time that the Marine Corps has surrendered is at Wake Island. And this is not Wake Island. This is Washington State.
Well, Dave, I really appreciate you taking the time to come into the studio, and I wish you a safe and healthy trip to the campaign
Sue,
this summer.
I enjoyed the invite, the drive over here. Beautiful. Washington is a beautiful state.
It is.
And I encourage everybody to get out there and go wild.
And see what we have.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching Meet the Candidate. Spokane Talks thanks our community-minded partners, Greater Spokane Incorporated, the Ponderosa Republican Women's Club, We Believe We Vote, and Better Spokane for helping make Meet the Candidate possible.